The series begins with Hong Joo walking injured in a snowy night toward Jung Jae Chan, whom she believes can help her. In her dream, she embraces Jae Chun, who also seems injured. However, it's all just a dream, and Hong Joo wakes up, immediately recording it as she considers her dreams important glimpses of the future. Her mother, Yoon Moon's son, aware of her daughter's ability, inquires about the dream. Unlike her usual dreams predicting unfortunate events, Hong Joo keeps this one to herself and goes about her morning routine. To her surprise, she spots Jae Chun, her new neighbor, through her window, trying to convince herself that her dream was a mistake. Because of her dream, Hong Joo continues to avoid Jae Chun, even when he tries to introduce himself as the new neighbor by sending food. She even feels embarrassed and mistakenly believes Jae Chun likes her when he sits next to her at the bus stop, though he's just making space for others. Embarrassed by her misunderstanding, Hong Joo quickly boards the arriving bus. Later, at her mother, Moon Soon's restaurant, Hong Joo shares the embarrassing incident, which amuses her mother. Later, at her mother, Moon Soon's restaurant, Hong Joo shares the embarrassing incident, which amuses her mother. Soon after, Hong Joo sees a man she saw in a dream destined to die in a fire. She tells her mother and tries to prevent the man from leaving, but he ignores them and heads out. Unfortunately, at a gas station, the man's lighter ignites a massive explosion, leading to his death. Switching to Jae Chun, a busy prosecutor, he juggles various tasks at the office. Meanwhile, Hong Joo feels sad and anxious after dreaming about her mother's death, but she avoids telling her about the dream. When she sees news about the man she warned dying, she becomes even more frightened and impulsively cuts her hair. Moon Soon is shocked and asks why she did it. After calming down, Hong Joo explains her fear that her dream about her mother's death will come true, hoping to change fate by cutting her hair. Moon Soon tries to reassure her, but she secretly prepares a will just in case. The next evening, prosecutor Liu Bom is seen heading to a restaurant to celebrate Valentine's Day with his lover. There he encounters Jae Chun standing in front of the restaurant. Though they were once close friends, their relationship soared due to past issues, with Jae Chun still holding on to the resentment of Yu Bom's past actions. Yu Bom met with Hong Joo, his girlfriend, for dinner. But her worries about her mother led her to ask him to drive her home. As they drove through falling snow, Yu Bom's lack of focus caused him to hit a man, leading to a crash that left Hong Joo unconscious with a head injury. When Hong Joo woke up in the hospital 10 months later, she discovered her hair had grown long. She learned that during her coma, her mother had passed away due to the financial burden from the accident. Moon Soo had to compensate the victim, exhausting her resources and eventually leading to her death in a fall. Hong Joo, devastated by this news, cried, realizing her nightmare had come true. Worse yet, she was accused of causing the accident. Jae Chun, appointed as the prosecutor, presented evidence against her, including Yu Bom's testimony stating she was driving that night. However, Yu Bom, who briefly regained consciousness after the crash, had deliberately moved Hong Joo to the driver's seat to shift blame onto her despite Jae Chun's belief in her innocence. The evidence pointed to Hong Joo as the culprit, leaving her feeling hopeless and contemplating to do the unthinkable despite Jae Chun's attempts to stop her. Surprisingly, the series of unfortunate events that Hong Joo experienced were actually dreams seen by Jae Chun, who also had the ability to foresee the future like her. After having this dream, Jae Chun tried to prevent the bad things from happening to Hong Joo by getting closer to her, even though she found him strange on Valentine's Day. Jae Chun encountered Yoon Byum, who was heading to meet Hong Joo. He warned her to go home alone, but she ignored him. Jae Chun, with his younger brother Chong Seung-won, tried not to worry about Hong Joo, but when he saw Yoon Byum driving the car, he asked his brother to get out because he needed to follow them. Just before Yoon Byum could hit someone, Jae Chun deliberately crashed his car into theirs to prevent the accident and save Hong Joo. Yoon Byum scolded Jae Chun, but Jae Chun explained he was preventing a bad dream. While Yoon Byung didn't believe him, Hong Joo, realizing Jae Chun had the same ability as her, hugged him, expressing her trust. This incident led Hong Joo to develop feelings for Jae Chun and understand the meaning of her dreams about him. After receiving treatment for the accident, Hong Joo confessed to Jae Chun that she also had the ability to see the future like him. Meanwhile, pianist named Park So-yoon was having a piano performance attended by a large crowd. Back at the hospital corridor, Jae Chun seemed curious about Hong Joo's ability, and she explained that her dreams usually predicted someone's fate, but Jae Chun had the power to change it. At So-yoon's performance, everyone was shocked when her mother, Do Kum-suk, collapsed during the press event. She had been a victim of domestic violence by So-yoon's father, Park Jin-mo. At the time of the incident, Song-won seemed worried about So-yoon, who was his school friend. Meanwhile, the police on duty that night were Han Woo-tuk, who survived after nearly being hit by the car driven by Hong Joo. Meanwhile, UBOM was the lawyer defending Jun Mo in the domestic violence case. The following day, Hong Joo felt happy, thinking Jae Chun like her. Meanwhile, at home, Jae Chun was with his younger brother planning to ask about So-yoon's mother's case, however, remembering So-yoon's request not to share her problems, someone decided to drop the idea. Soon after, Hong Joo visited Jae Chun's house to thank him for saving her, but he refused the rice ball she brought, not wanting to give her the wrong idea. Hong Joo persisted, knowing Jae Chun's activities through her dreams, making it easy to follow him. Feeling uneasy, Jae Chun explained he couldn't change fate as she thought, then walked away. Still, Hong Joo believed he could help ease her anxiety by seeing the future. She later met UBOM to end their relationship after realizing his irresponsibility. On another occasion, Hong Joo dreamed Sung-won would become Junmo's murderer, wanting to help So-yoon, who planned to end Junmo's life after she felt Jae Chun and other prosecutors couldn't resolve her mother's case. Without So-yoon knowing, Jae Chun had initially planning to investigate Junmo's alleged domestic violence. But UBOM persuaded Jae Chun to continue, despite Kumsuk's wish not to pursue it to protect So-yoon's career. Meanwhile, So-yoon felt Junmo deserved severe punishment for the cruel treatment he inflicted on Kumsuk over the years. Without So-yoon knowing, Jae Chun had initially planning to investigate Junmo's alleged domestic violence. If the prosecutors couldn't bring justice in her mother's case, So-yoon intended to enforce justice in her own way. But UBOM persuaded Jae Chun to continue, despite Kumsuk's wish not to pursue it to protect So-yoon's career. Song-won, who had feelings for her, wanted to help her carry out the plan. On the other hand, Jae Chun fell asleep in the office and dreamed of Song-won crying for help after being arrested. Meanwhile, So-yoon felt Junmo deserved severe punishment for the cruel treatment he inflicted on Kumsuk over the years. Worried about his brother, he approached Hong Joo to ask if she dreamt about Song-won too. Hong Joo shared her dream, revealing Song-won as a murder suspect, blaming Jae Chun. She explains Sung-won accidentally pushed Junmo while trying to protect Soyum and Kumsuk. Hearing Hong Joo's story, Jae Chun finally understood that all the dreams were related to Kumsuk's domestic violence case. Meanwhile, Woo-tuk, patrolling with his colleague, also dreamt of arresting Sung-won, with Jae Chun pleading not to take his brother. Unaware of his ability, Woo-tuk initially dismissed it as a normal dream, but recalling Jae Chun saving him before he rushed to the location he saw in his dream. At Jima's house, he was seen torturing Kumsuk again, while So-yoon and Song-won arrived at the apartment building to confront him. Luckily, Hong Joo and Jae Chun, trying to prevent the events from their dreams, also arrived and helped So-yoon and Kumsuk escape to Hong Joo's house with Woo-tuk's assistance. Meanwhile, Song-won expressed his shame to Jae Chun for not fighting for justice for Kumsuk, who suffered at Jinma's hands. Hearing this, Jae Chun recalled their childhood memories when Sung-won was still young. Turning to Hong Joo, she seemed to dream of sharing affection with Jae Chun in a park, even kissing him. Upon waking, she felt embarrassed for initiating the kiss. Later, she argued with So-yoon, who insulted Jae Chun and deemed him incompetent in handling Kumsuk's case. Unsatisfied, Hong Joo vowed that Jae Chun would reopen the domestic violence case. Another occasion, Hong Joo approached Jae Chun to invite him to eat together. When she noticed his wound from the previous accident reopening, she rushed to the pharmacy to buy medicine and bandages. Hong Joo helped him treat the wound, impressing him. She even intentionally reopened the wound on his finger to provide better care. After treating him at the bus stop, she brought up Kumsuk's case, hoping Jae Chun would reopen it. Unfortunately, he refused, citing weak evidence and his brother's surviva. Later, while walking with Yubong, Jae Chun expressed his intention to reopen the domestic violence case. UBOM, as Junmo's lawyer, became angry, warning Jae Chun about the powerful people involved in the case. However, Jae Chun became more determined to expose the truth and send Junmo to prison, even if it meant facing UBOM in court. When Jae Chun arrived at the office, he gathered documents related to Kumsuk's case, prompting his superior Park Dae-young to caution him against pursuing a futile effort. Despite this, Jae Chun insisted on reopening the case to ensure the suspect faced severe punishment. His colleagues, including Sin Hee-min, were surprised by his determination. Hee-min later advised Jae Chun that pursuing the case could jeopardize his career as there were influential figures protecting Jinma, making many prosecutors reluctant to investigate the case. When Jae Chun arrived at the office, he gathered documents related to Kumsuk's case, prompting his superior Park Dae-young to caution him against pursuing a futile effort. After this conversation, Jae Chun began to question whether he should prioritize his career like other prosecutors or pursue justice. Despite this, Jae Chun insisted on reopening the case to ensure the suspect faced severe punishment. It reminds us that while the future may seem predetermined, our actions and determination can alter its course. No need to cut your hair. Sometimes, bringing an umbrella is all it takes. And yes, even bears have bad hair days.